Welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I'm not here with Geeky Sparkles. I'm going to talk about this manga ban, this Texas manga ban, the Texas censorship bill, and apparently there are some retailers that are pulling the original Dragon Ball manga off the shelves, and I'm thinking it's because Bulma's panties and Goku's Dragon Balls. I'm thinking. So we're gonna talk about this, and then we're gonna talk about the manga ban in Texas. I don't think we've really talked about it a whole lot. I think we did one or two videos, and I think it's kind of important to talk about this now because of everything that's going on with Steam and itch and games being banned. And look, if you're not into this kind of stuff, that's fine, really. But the problem with these bans is that media that is not necessarily offensive or offending, or even the media that was intended to be targeted, a lot of times gets caught up in the net, right? When there's all kinds of censorship, and as I understand it, the Texas bill was supposed to deal specifically with CP and like AI generated CP, and people have again cast a wider net, and now we've got anime and manga getting caught up in it too. And people are also self-censoring. It's the law is not saying that they have to get rid of Dragon Ball, but they're doing it preemptively. And again, not understanding the law, what it actually says, or they're afraid that they don't want to have any of that kind of stuff, or maybe they're just looking for an excuse. I don't know. But this happened with Steam and itch too, where the payment processors said that they were not responsible for some of the games that got pulled, just the platforms were doing it, taking it upon themselves. They call it the chilling effect. We'll talk about the chilling effect, and we'll see if people are massively overreacting to this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Go out to news.clownfishtv.com. That's news.clownfishtv.com. Speaking of censorship, YouTube is up to some shenanigans, and there are a lot of YouTube channels that are getting caught up in this, that they're not notifying you of new videos. And I've noticed that even with our videos, they were pretty consistent. We had some videos that wouldn't perform quite as well as others, but we're talking, every time we upload, it's a 50-50 chance if people are going to see it, react to it. Sometimes we get normal views, for us. Other times we've had a couple of videos that were under 8 or 10,000 views in the last couple of weeks since YouTube rolled out this stupid AI age verification thing. And it's gonna play havoc with a lot of channels. I think I'm gonna be honest. I think a lot of YouTubers are gonna pack it in after this year if this continues, because it's not gonna be sustainable. If you don't get seen, what's the point of doing it, right? I mean, you just at that point, just go look in the mirror and just dock yourself at home and go take a day job someplace else and just call it a day. And I think a lot of people will. I'm going to be honest. Maybe that's the purpose of it. Maybe that's the reason that YouTube is doing what they're doing right now, is they're trying to make it as uncomfortable for people as possible, so those pesky YouTubers get out of the way and make more room for AI slop, the shorts, the ridiculous cat, animations or whatever the hell's getting all kinds of views. But people, they don't get paid much for those at all. I mean, I know people that have shorts channels that get 100 million views a month, 100 million views a month, and they make like $3,000, $4,000. It's ridiculous. Anyway, let's talk about this again. Go out to news.clownfishtv.com. So Niche Gamer had it, and we haven't talked about Niche Gamer in a while, actually. Good site, one of my favorite gaming sites. I think you guys should check out Niche Gamer. Dragon Ball and more pulled from shelves amid Texas censorship bill. We'll talk about this bill. I am not in Texas. I am not in Florida. We are in Pennsylvania. We're in the Pennsylvania wilds. Well, actually not. We're right outside Pittsburgh, but whatever. So it's a very different climate here. It's a very blue climate here compared to these red states. But this was pretty interesting stuff, this ban. I know a lot of people were freaking out about it. Japan was freaking out about it. Retailers are already reacting to a recent Texas bill by pulling manga from shelves, including issues of Dragon Ball. This is SB 20. The bill appears to have noble intentions, with language going after generative AI being used to create material which simulates realistic child exploitation. Again, that was the purpose of it. You can't use AI to create CP, material. And now we're like, oh yeah, well, Dragon Ball's got, Goku's ding dong in it, so we got to get rid of that too. However, the bill also includes vague references to cartoons. As previously reported, there's plenty of manga and anime which could hypothetically run afoul of this bill, while anime featuring fan service or violence, sexual violence, such as Goblin Slayer, are obvious targets. Retro anime, which features casual nudity, is also on the chopping block. For anyone familiar, it's a running gag in the original Dragon Ball for Goku to run around naked. Yeah, in 1986, right? Goku's running around with his Dragon Balls hanging out, and nobody really thought much of it because in Japan, it's not that big of a deal for kids to run around naked. I mean, they've got public bathhouses, for crying out loud. It's not, a huge deal, and it's not sexual. Actually, I think a lot of people, older people especially, probably think it's funny. But we can't do that anymore because of creeps. Not that anyway, I'm gonna get myself in trouble the more I keep talking. They'll be like, what, you want kids to run around? No, I do not. I'm just saying, we've made everything creepy now because of creeps. As a result, at least one retailer made the decision to pull these earlier volumes from shelves and be more restrictive on what he will allow customers to order. So let's see here. Who is this? This is valleycentral.com. Let's go to this original story here. All right. Anime fans expressed concerns over impact of new Texas law. So they talked to a retailer. They said SB 20 defines obscene as the average person applying contemporary community standards that would find that taken as a whole appeals to the prurient interest in sex, patently offensive representations or descriptions of acts taken as a whole, lacks serious literary, artistic, political, and scientific value. Well, I think Dragon Ball, would actually be fine because Dragon Ball is one of the most popular manga series of all time. And as far as pop culture is concerned, I think, the earlier stuff especially would be considered of historical significance. Legislators sought to stay ahead of the changing pace of technology by outlawing images of children in those kinds of situations generated by AI. So this is, Kaboom Comics. Okay, Kaboom Comics. When I first heard it was against AI generating inappropriate stuff like that, by all means, doesn't need to do that. But it's going to affect things that we had no intention in that way whatsoever, said the manager of Kaboom Comics. They're getting rid of Dragon Ball probably. Yeah, he said they've already pulled some volumes of Dragon Ball from the shelves due to concerns that the main character had been shown naked as a child in early issues. He said the depictions are very rare in earlier issues, and he believes it was done for comedic effect. Yes. He felt it was better not to have it on the shelves, to be on the safe side. Well, that's the thing. Yeah. Because you don't know. There's the intention of the law and the letter of the law. And then you've got people that are going to, try to get you in trouble by saying that you're violating the law, even if you're not violating the law. And, I can see his point. I mean, I can see his point. I mean, if they've got this law against, depictions of kids, in those situations, and you've got that on your shelves, somebody's going to pick it up and be like, hey, what's up with the CP here? You've got you must be into kiddie stuff, right? Because you have a 40-year-old issue of Dragon Ball on your shelves. So this is coming from Texas Public Radio. Is that NPR? They have any money left? I love this picture because this is basically a Comic-Con at this point. Could the new Texas law make some types of anime illegal? Fans worry it's possible under SB 20. They said in Texas, more than 830 new state laws went into effect on Monday. This would have been September 1st. From healthcare to education to public safety. And they said nearly all these laws will touch every aspect of people's lives in ways big and small. Sometimes new laws can also bring about some unintended questions that lawmakers may not have considered when they originally pushed a bill through to the legislature. So Senate Bill 20, which is designed to crack down on AI-generated child pornography in Texas. The law passed earlier this year with overwhelming bipartisan support. Now that's on the books, some are wondering, did Texas just open the door to making anime illegal? Yeah, potentially, some of it. I mean, yeah, some of it, because people aren't going to discriminate, right? They're going to be like, oh, well, dicey pictures of kids or characters that look like kids, we're going to have to get rid of all that. Like, make her look like she looks too young, make her look like a 43-year-old chain smoker, and you're good, right? So over Labor Day weekend, thousands gathered in San Antonio for the annual San Japan Anime and Gaming Convention. The mood was jubilant. This year, there was also a chill in the air because of Senate Bill 20. The new law takes aim at AI pornography and creates a felony offense for the promotion of obscene visual material that appears to depict a child younger than 18 years old, whether it's an actual photo, AI generated images, or a cartoon animation. Texas Public Radio spoke to a convention goer who identified himself as Lane due to the sensitive nature of the subject. I completely understand, and I'm against minor, CP. I don't think any reasonable person would be for it. No. He's one of many fans who is wondering if anime could run afoul of the new law. Yes. The popular animation style originates in Japan, often features characters who have childlike qualities. A swear officer, she told me she was 432 years old. I know she looks 8, but I swear she's 400. She's an elf princess. She's 432 years old. I said there's a fine line you have to walk with it, because especially in anime and video game culture, there's a lot of sexualization of women, which is free speech. Yeah, well, that's the thing. The goalpost is going to keep getting moved, right? He noted he's a First Amendment advocate, but he gets why the legislators wanted to put a stop to people creating imagery appearing to show those under 18. The bill was authored by Pete Flores, a Republican. They had to make sure you knew that. In passing it earlier this year, Texas Republicans, Democrats agreed that protecting children was a critical priority. So let's see here. Here's the problem. I said, in politics, we run into what we call the law of unintended consequences. One of those unintended consequences is what you do with AI images, how they're generated, and how they fall within the concept or idea of child or of CP. Can I say that on YouTube now? I don't know what I can say on YouTube now, because you probably won't see this video anyway, particularly if you're creating images that are, say, anime, and I think that's where we're going to run into problems. So because people don't know, they said you're opening the door for more banning. Yep, that's true. And they might just ban anime altogether, because, it's better to be safe than sorry, right? Just ban all of it. Everybody who looks 12, just ban all of it. I don't know. I mean, this is kind of what happened with video games too, with Steam and itch. Now, the payment processors said that they did not make Steam and itch pull down a lot of games, adult games. But they did it on their own because they didn't know what they could and couldn't do. That is, the payment processors trying to pass the buck on to, or not pass the buck on to Steam and itch, right? So yeah, I mean, people are going to kind of freak out. And at the end of the day, you have a business to run. And if there's anything that could interfere with you running that business, you're going to make decisions based on that. And I don't think this guy who pulled Dragon Ball off the shelves, given the law being passed, I don't know if he's in the wrong here, because we don't know how it's going to play, right? Like here in Pennsylvania, they have skill games, right? Skill games, which are a plague because they call them video games. And when you go to a place that supposedly has video games, it's all these stupid digital slot machines, and they're all over the place. They're like, it's a menace, but they're like all over the place, right? And some towns and counties are actually imposing fines on these machines, like a licensing fee. Like you have to pay like $500 a year and then a percentage, to the state or whatever every year. It depends on the town, which I think is, it sounds like the mafia gets their cut. Actually, I think a lot of these machines are, they're associated with the mob, but that's a whole nother thing. but I know the language and some of those laws, it could easily read to include, or you could interpret it to include, video games, arcade machines, and gaming PCs and pinball tables, any electronic gaming device, because they're not really clear on the language. Like, they're not saying, oh, it has to be an electronic gambling device. They're just like, oh, electronic video devices or whatever that people have to pay for or pay to play. And I'm pretty sure I read that there was a pizza parlor that had a bunch of arcade machines and pinball tables, and they got rid of them because they were gonna charge them like $500 a pop. That they were really concerned about that, because they're like, wait a minute, we got pinball tables, we got arcade machines, we don't have any gambling devices, but you're gonna charge us $500 to register these electronic gaming devices. And so they just got rid of everything because they weren't exactly sure about it, and they're like, it's better to be safe than sorry, so we're just gonna sell off all the equipment and not have to worry about it. And I think that's what's gonna happen. I think a lot of people are going to self-censor. Again, the chilling effect, they're going to self-censor because they don't want to run afoul of it. They're trying to run their comic shop, they're trying to run their business, and they're going to just be like, yeah, I don't even want to deal with this. So let's go through. Okay, there's Goku's pee-pee. We're going to get rid of that one because I don't know what. Oh, this one over here, this girl looks 12. Yeah, even though it says she's 432, yeah, let's get rid of that one too, because I don't know what's going to happen. So yeah, there is going to be a lot of self-censoring, but interesting stuff, right? We live in interesting times. Some days I wish we didn't. I'm reading the headlines now. I'm going out to Twitter. I'm seeing some of the news going on in the world this week, last week, and yeah, it's crazy out there. So that honestly, anime is the least of our concerns given the way things are going, but that's what we talk about here. So I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe. We will talk later. For more pop culture news, views, and rants, go to news.clownfishtv.com. That's news.clownfishtv.com.